Good afternoon, everybody around the country, maybe from around the world as well. Welcome to the World Robot Olympiad South Africa, our first webinar in a range of webinar series. Here we are talking about the WRO for Beginners, or the World Robot Olympiad Beginner's Guide. If you could please show me some love, give me some thumbs up if you are able to hear me. I am having a few issues every now and again. Great. Thank you, everybody. I just really wanted to see all the thumbs up in the channel there. So welcome to our WRO webinar series. So if this is your webinar and it's your first webinar, welcome. My name is Duncan and I am the RoboMission head judge for the international final. I'm also part of the WRO organizing team here in South Africa. I have about 10 years plus experience in the World Robot Olympiad, and I'll be taking you through this wonderful world and your wonderful journey of the World Robot Olympiad. So whether it's your first time or you're a veteran, you will learn something new as we go through. Now, the voice you just heard coming through there a little bit, that was Dani. Dani is our national organizer. He's here in the call as well. So thank you, Dani, for joining us all the way from Schoolscape in the Eastern Cape, I believe. So welcome, Dani. Wasn't sure if he would join us or not, but he is here, jumping right into this incredible world. What is WRO? Well, WRO stands for the World Robot Olympiad. It is one of the largest robotics competitions in the world for children. As you can see on the map, all of those red areas, those are the countries that participate in the World Robot Olympiad. The gray ones, those are the countries that are not yet participating. They will come through sometime because everybody should be involved in the World Robot Olympiad. Currently, there are 106 member countries, quite a few. Often at the international final, we have about 99 to 98 of these countries that will come through and be represented there at the international final. So if you're looking for a truly global, truly international robotics competition for your teams, this is the one. So a little bit about how the WRO works. So internationally, there is the WRO Association. This is the major team that sets up all of the WRO competitions. They write the rules, they set all the parameters. They are the ones that all of our national organizers work with. So in order to join WRO, you would need to work through a national organizer. Here in South Africa, we have Dani as our national organizer, and national organizers talk directly with the WRO Association. The other people that talk directly with WRO Association are the volunteers and consultants. So head judges such as myself will talk directly with the WRO Association members when needed. And you as participants, you will communicate directly with your national organizer, that's Dani, or you might go through me as well sometimes in a judging aspect through the volunteer and consultant method. So if you're trying to get hold of the World Robot Olympiad, don't send your messages to the association, send them through to your national organizers and they will be able to assist you. So as we move along our WRO journey, I have a little graphic just to show here, and we're going to cover each and every one of these blocks in my sort of 9 to 11 step program. The first thing that you should be doing if you are going to join the WRO and are interested in the WRO is to visit our website. From our website, you will find a lot of information. There are many things that you will see there. Step number 2, you select your category. Now, don't worry, we will get into this in quite some depth. So I'm just going to give a quick overview. So you select your category as step number 2. You need to read the rules. You need to find the game rules, and please read them as well. And you will also need some form of equipment specific to the category that you have chosen. Step number 3, you need to actually get this equipment. So there's various ways that you can go about it. The 2 main ones in South Africa, that's through hands-on technologies or now Resolute Education. You also need to then prepare your teams in step number 4. give them the rules, you need to allocate them their equipment, they need to come up with team names, and they need to have some form of coding and building knowledge. You as a coach can't give your team all of the information that they need. You can't build the project yourself. That must be done by the team. Once you have prepared your teams, you know who they are, they need to practice. Practice makes perfect. So please make sure your teams practice. That your teams will test, they will fail, but they will succeed. But you will keep running through this process. The more practice you have, the better it will become. Then step 6, this is where things split up a bit. Step 6, you will need to register your teams. So the teams, now that you have decided who's going to go, if you're going to be running with a few teams, perhaps you've got lots of teams, maybe you're running through some kind of process to work out which teams you want to send. Once you have run through that process, you're going to register them with the World Robot Olympiad here in South Africa. You will then jump to step number 7, where you're going to start preparing for your competitions. You will choose your venues, and you'll know where your venue is. You would have chosen your dates and which categories. You want to get your teams up and running, so they must test and retest. They need to check all of their equipment, and they need to pack all of their extra bits and pieces that they may have. Once we've completed with our preparation, we get into the actual competition itself. In this competition, you want to have fun. Your team should be doing their best, and they must be learning from those around you. Now, remember, this webinar is all for beginners, so to our veterans, it might be a little bit different. And last, we have step number 9, where we will reflect. So you always want to go back and look at how the year went. How did the competition go? How were my teams performing? It's always a good idea to step back after a competition and see what went right and what went wrong. We did have a little bit of a step out there. So from practice number 5, you go to 6A, and there it's attend the webinars. So you have completed step 6A. Welcome, you are in the WRO Beginners webinar. You have found our special page. There on our website, WRO Resources, you will find all of our upcoming webinars for you to join. So if you have a specific question, if you're interested in anything WRO, our webinars are the best place to get that information and ask your questions. At the end of all of our webinars, including this one today, we have a Q&A session where you can ask your WRO questions. It doesn't have to be about the challenges or what we're speaking about now. It can be about anything World Robot Olympiad related. And my always go-to, the number one thing, if you are new to the World Robot Olympiad, whether you have teams or maybe you don't have teams and you're thinking about it, the best way is to get some experience, and that is through judging at these competitions. The judging process is very easy. It is a lot of fun. You learn a lot, and it is incredibly valuable to you and your teams. So if it is your first time and you are looking at the WRO, come and join us as a judge, and then after that, you will know what best suits you and your teams. So now to go into a little bit more detail, taking a look at step number 1, the WRO website. So having a look at our website, WRO South Africa, on there you will find all of the category rules. So that will be all of the rule sets that you need for the various categories. Go and have a look at the rules, read them and learn about the competitions themselves. They are quite in depth, and there are a few things that differ between each one. The main thing between all of them is that you can use any robotics platform you like. Next, you'll find some venues and dates. These will be when the competitions are taking place. What categories will be at what venues is dependent on what we have decided. So for example, you may not have a Future Innovators category and a RoboMission category happening on the same day. They could be moved to different dates or different venues. And we have multiple locations. So there are multiple locations, there are multiple events happening across the country at different times. You can pick and choose which ones you would like your teams to attend. And if you have any issues, let us know and we'll move your teams wherever you may need them to go. On that, registrations do fill up pretty quickly. So if you have a particular venue and date in mind, make sure you register as early as possible. You'll also find our registration system. Currently, it is offline because we haven't yet opened registrations. Registration will open on the 1st of April. And we will have the teams registration where you will register your teams, as well as the judges registration where you can register as a judge. You'll also find past competition results. So if you have teams who've participated before and want to see how they did for a comparison, take a look and you will see in the competition results. Under our resources page, you will find our webinar series, useful websites, videos, and the incredible WRO Learn. If you haven't yet, have a look at WRO Learn. It is a free platform created by the WRO Association where they have designed a special course and system to teach as many people, whether you be a coach, a judge, or even a team member, about the World Robot Olympiad. You go in, you register, and you select who you are. So if you're going in as a judge, you would select the judge's course and run through the judge's course where it will give you a quick example and teach you some aspects of the judging process. For you coaches out there, there are interesting bits of information, tips and tricks that you can use as well, and some extra information on the WRO that you can find there. And for our teams, there is information on robot builds, rules, understanding of rules, all within the same platform. So take a look at WRO Learn. It's free. Join and have some fun. You'll also find our contacts. So if you are working in a specific province, you are welcome to contact the provincial organizers that are on the page. Otherwise, any questions, direct them straight to the national organizers, us here, and we will do our best to answer any questions which you may have. Jumping some more, we have the category selection. So you visited our website, you've seen all the categories, and now you are trying to decide what you should do with your teams. What do you want to get involved in? Well, here's a quick breakdown for you. The first step that you should be doing is having a look at your category. So Robo Mission, this is the largest category that we have in South Africa, not only in South Africa, in the world. It's about 60% of the entire robotics competition. So it is quite a large chunk within WRO South Africa. So if you are interested in something that's quick and easy to get involved in, Robo Mission is a very good start. What you need is a table. So it's a table-based challenge. It works with a mat. And how we decide the winner, it's the highest score in the quickest amount of time. Teams will have multiple scoring rounds, and we will use the best score in the quickest time in order to determine our winner. Within the age groups, there are 3 age groups within RoboMission: elementary, junior, and senior. Make sure your team members fit within each specific age group so that you don't run into any issues. 1 robot is allowed to be used per team. So at the event, you can only have 1 robot within RoboMission. What robot? Well, anything. It can be any kind of robot you like. Whether you have gone and taken a washing machine and have fitted it with wheels, you are welcome to bring that along as long as it fits within the category rules. Next up, we have the Future Innovators category, just below RoboMission. This is our second largest category here in South Africa, and it is a project-based system. It is a fun, awesome event where teams will design a robot around a theme. Think kind of science fair that you would be going to, and teams will then show their robotic solution. The theme is driven and it is diverse, so it's constantly changing all of the time. You again have 3 age groups within Future Innovators: the elementary, junior, and senior, and those are the same age ranges as our RoboMission age groups. There is no limit to the number of robots you are allowed within this category. You can do whatever you want as long as you fit within the rules. So always check your game rules to make sure whatever robot you are using fits within those rules. And if you're not sure, send us an email and we'll be able to assist you. Next up, we have our Robo Sports category. Now, this is a very fun category. This is where robots compete against one another in a really fun sport-based game. The robots this year are competing in tennis, so they are playing a form of table tennis with each other, hitting balls across the mat from one side to the other. There are 2 robots on the game mat per side. So side 1 will have 2 robots running and side 2 will have 2 robots running. So there will be 4 robots on the game mat, all doing different things, moving the balls from one set to the other. The highest score at the end of the time is declared the winning team. Within RoboSports, we have one age group. In Future Engineers, there are 2 robotics challenges and an engineering journal, which you will submit through GitHub. So 2 robotics challenges, really cool. The first one, you have to have a vehicle, and this is all based on autonomous vehicles, a vehicle that will drive a circuit around a mat. In the second challenge, objects will be placed on this mat that your robot needs to avoid. The objects can also tell you which direction your robot should move, so whether it's to the left or whether it's to the right. Read the rules and find out what these robots are going to be doing. Within Future Engineers, there is one age group and one robot or vehicle is allowed to be used. And again, your team must submit all of their information through the GitHub process in an engineering journal. So all specs of the robot should be there as well as the entire design process. We then have in South Africa some very special challenges that we have created, and these are South African only challenges. The previous 4 that we spoke about, RoboMission, Future Engineers, Future Innovators, and RoboSports, those are the proper international final challenges that you can get involved in. In South Africa, we have Explorer and the in-house challenge, which we have created as a starter competition. So if you are not so confident in yourself, in your teams, and you want to try something simple and easy, Explorer and the in-house challenge have specifically been designed for you. So Explorer is a table-based challenge. We work on the same principles as RoboMission. The highest score in the quickest time wins. However, the challenges are very simple. Teams receive points for using their ultrasonic sensors, their light sensors, following lines, moving simple elements around the table. Your teams get to tell the judges when they want to score, so once they've had a great run, they can let the judge know that on the next turn they would like to be scored. The judge will only score a run if it's higher than the previous one, which means a team can only do better and progress through the competition. There are 2 age groups within Explorer, Explorer Lite and Explorer Prime. And again, in Explorer, you will use one robot. Explorer is the only challenge we have within WRO where we have set it to Lego only. So only Lego robots are allowed to be used within this category. So that will be your EV3, your NXT, your Spike Primes. Those will be the robots that we will most likely see running these events. The in-house challenge is something different. The in-house challenge has been designed as a way for anybody around the world, anybody, no matter where you are, you can compete in the in-house challenge. You don't need to travel anywhere. There is no provincial event. There is no national event. You run this challenge in-house. So you can run it at home, in your own club, at your own school. It works on a table-based challenge where you need the table itself, as well as the game elements to be set out for your teams. You must try and score as best as you can. Try and get as many points as possible. There are 3 different challenge levels. You can either do one challenge level or you can do all 3. During October, you submit your team scores to the WRO system and you will receive your team certificates. And the best thing about the in-house challenge is that you can run it at any time you like throughout the year. So if you jump on our website right now, download the rules, you read them and you think, hey, I can do this in 10 minutes, go right ahead. You can run the challenge, get your best score, and wait until October to submit the team scores for your certificates. We then have, again, one robot being used. However, the in-house is designed in such a way that you can change it to make it what you want. So if you find that teams are struggling, you can make the challenge as easy or as more difficult as you like. It's up to you. Use whatever robot you like and really whatever age group you may be wanting to compete in the in-house, as long as you stick to the maximum score allowed. Equipment. So in order to participate in most of the WRO categories, you will need some form of equipment, namely a robot. That's number 1. If you don't have a robot in a robotics challenge, I think you are going to struggle. So what do you need for the majority of the World Robot Olympiad challenges? You need some form of game mat. So this is a specific mat. It's got different images on it, different lines for the robot to travel on, and we'll see an example of that in the next slide. And this is something that the robot will move on. This is the competition. Some of them have specific age groups in which they will run. So for example, in RoboMission, there are 3 separate game mats, each for its own individual age group. In RoboSports, because there's only one age group, there is only one game mat, and the same for future engineers. So the ones that use game mats, RoboMission, RoboSports, Future Engineers, Explorer, and the in-house challenge. Now the Explorer in-house challenge, they use the RoboMission Junior game mat. So if you want to participate in Explorer or in-house, you will need the RoboMission Junior game mat. Now you'll notice that there is no Future Innovators there. That is because there is no mat for Future Innovators, because Future Innovators is a science type or science fair type project. It is a project that teams will build. They can design their own mats. They're welcome to use these mats that pre-exist, but you don't really need a mat in order to participate in the Future Innovators. The only thing that you need is a competitive set. All of these competitions require some kind of competitive set. And when I'm talking about a competitive set, I mean some kind of robot that can move around within the rules per the age group. So some of these sets may work, some of them may not. And if you are not sure, send us a message and we'll try and help you out. You'll need a robotics kit or a robotics set. Now, because you have a Lego EV3 set or you've got a Spike set, it doesn't mean you can't go and add pieces from an Arduino or even 3D printer machine your own pieces. You are more than welcome to do so. So you are not restricted to a single set. You can use whatever you like as long as it fits the requirements of your chosen category. A big one for all of them, except for Future Innovators and possibly in-house, you are not allowed to have a robot that is remote controlled. So this could either be remote control through your phone or through another device as a standard remote. So please keep in mind when you are looking at robots to compete in the competition, remote control is not allowed, except for maybe in Future Innovators. You then need a programming device. So this is going to be your laptop or your tablet, the item that your team is going to program everything on. And they will be working on the same device throughout the year. No mobile phones are allowed to be used really in any of the categories except, once again, for Future Innovators. Because as a project based, we want to see what kinds of innovations teams are coming up with. So mobile phones are more than welcome to be used in the Future Innovators category. However, you cannot use it in the RoboMission, RoboSports, Future Engineers, Explorer. You are welcome to use it in-house, I would say. It should run on some kind of battery and be chargeable. And the reason for that is because sometimes, as we know, living in South Africa, we have this wonderful item called load shedding, which will appear out of nowhere. And if that happens at your competition, you do not want to be sitting waiting for the 2 or 3 hours for the electricity to come back. So make sure whatever programming device you're running with, it has some kind of battery backup. Teams should not be sharing their programming device. It should be only for that team. And remember, in our events, there may be limited internet connections. Generally, there is no internet connection, no Wi-Fi whatsoever. Teams, if you want to use it, you have to set up your own hotspots. So taking a look into the further equipment we need, there's an image of the game mat, and there is an image of the WRO element set. Depending on which categories you choose, you will have a specific game mat, and you may require elements. The element sets are specific for the RoboMission, the Explorer, and the in-house category. Within RoboSports, there are other element sets, not this one that you see on the screen. It's mainly ramps that need to be created, and you need to find some ping pong balls. Within Future Engineers, there is a specific document which will show you exactly what you will need and how to machine it. So please, if you're interested in Future Engineers, have a look at Future Engineers and Future Innovators as well. It's up to you to decide what you want to use. If you are looking for equipment, let's say I have piqued your interest in RoboMission and you want to see where you can get involved and how you can get involved, your first stop should be Hands-On Technologies. Through Hands-On Tech, send them an email at info@handsontech.co.za and ask them or give them some information about what you are interested in. I would like to compete in the RoboMission elementary age group. What items do I require? They will then get hold of you and let you know what you would need. If you have read the rules and you know exactly what you need, you are welcome to again send them an email or try purchase your mats online. They've been getting a lot of mats going through. The online stock, I believe, is still showing as out of stock. However, send us an email and they'll be able to assist you. You can also take a look at Resolute Education. There you will find some other robot types as well as more information. If you're looking for a 3D printer, also an excellent place to go, by the way. And if you're looking for further WRO resources, you will start to find a lot on Resolute Education. So take a look at either Hands-On Tech or Resolute Education for all of your World Robot Olympiad needs. Jumping into our team preparation. So what does a WRO team look like? Well, WRO teams consist of 2 to 3 participants across all categories except for the in-house challenge. The in-house challenge is the only challenge in which you are allowed 1 participant in a team. All the others have to be made of a minimum of 2 people and a maximum of 3. When you're preparing your teams and you're getting your kids together, make sure that you check the age groups. Make sure the team members fit within those age groups. If they don't fit within the age groups, you won't be able to register them. And they will be participating in the wrong challenges. So make sure you check your participant ages and that they match their age groups. How the age system works in the World Robot Olympiad is we look at the age that the participant will be turning in the year of the competition. So for example, if there is a participant who is 11 years old and they are turning 11 years old in this year, 2026, they are eligible to compete in both the WRO RoboMission elementary age group, which is from the ages of 8 to 12, and the WRO junior age group. Please check the age groups and see what fits best with your team members. Your teams then need to come up with a team name. Now, this is a very important step within a WRO team. Without a team name, the team has no identity and it is very difficult to register. It is incredibly important because this is the name that the judges will use at the events. It's something that the team should know and it should have some kind of importance for them. So please let the teams come up with their own team names that you will then submit to the system. A maximum of 25 characters is allowed when constructing a team name. So if your team name is called the robots that like to go out on long hikes and do incredible things while they're standing on top of a mountain, that team name is far too long and you will not be able to register it. If your team name is Hello, my name is, that's a perfect name. You are welcome to register that name because it fits within the character limit. You will then need a robot for your team. Again, it's a robotics competition. If they do not have a robot, they will struggle. They should be using the same robotics device each time they are using or interacting within the club or within the space while they're preparing for the challenge. If they keep getting a different robot, they will struggle because they need to build and add things to their robot. They need to make it specific to fit a task. They'll make some improvements. They will maybe make some things that aren't improvements, but it is all part of the building and engineering process. And each robot has a unique action. Each robot is different. Each robot is special and unique. What do I mean by that? Well, robots have different types of motor bias. The sensors act differently on some robots. So have your teams use the same robot so they can adjust and learn what that motor bias is. Perhaps there's a 2-second delay when they run their robot. Rather have a team understand that, hey, when we press go, there's a 2-second delay before it does anything, than trying to give them a new robot each time. Let them get used to the robot they have, and teams will often form really strong relationships with these robots. They will then need a programming device. Just as the robot, please make sure they're using the same programming device for each time they come to your club. It should be the same device that they're using while they're preparing for the competition and the same device that they will use at the competition. The reason for that is because their program should be saved to that specific device. There's no point in restarting the program every single time. They should be saving blocks of it and keep adding and adding and adding as they go. There should be one program, however, teams are welcome to use many. It's up to the team, but they will only be allowed to use in some categories one program at a time. This sounds quite obvious, but this is often a stumbling block that we find. The team should know the password to log into the device. So by giving them the same device and you are not changing the password, they will know and learn what the password is. So when they come to the competition, we as judges don't have to run around and find you to find out what the password is for the device that they're using so that your team can log in and use it. So make sure the teams know the password if it is password locked. We then get to where the teams should be practicing. So practice takes a long time. In practice, some things will be perfect, some things will work, sometimes it doesn't. One of the things to consider when you're looking at your practice time is the actual time. How long is my session? How long am I giving my students or my learners, my participants? How much practice time do they have? Am I running a 1-hour session once a week? Maybe I'm running a 3-hour session once a week. Maybe I'm working at home and I'm working 10 hours a day because I'm not sleeping on my robot. Think about the session length that you have, and this will determine 1, how well teams do, and 2, how prepared they are. Think about the number of sessions. We have school holidays coming up, some of them in the middle of the events. So think and factor in those school holidays. Maybe I only have 5 sessions in order to get a robot going. What would I need to get my team running if I was running 5 sessions? How long would they need to be? Think about the number of teams you will be running at a time. How many teams will I have in my lab? How many teams will I have sitting in my dining room? Think about quality versus quantity. Generally, the smaller number of teams you have, the more quality they can receive because they will have you as a coach providing them with information. It's also limited to the amount of equipment you have. If you have one robot in your club, you should only have one team using that robot. Do not let a team share a robot, again, because they need to build, they need to progress with it. And think about how much time you can spend with each individual team. If you have 2 teams and you've got an hour session, that means 30 minutes per team. That's great. If you've got 60 teams in an hour session, well, that's 1 minute per team of your attention. So please take into those factors when you're thinking about how many teams you want to start with. For our veterans, they understand this and they have the larger number of teams because they've gone through the process. Also, they've got an advantage because their teams have experienced the World Robot Olympiad, so they understand what work is required and how it should run. Next up, you need to practice scoring. Why? Well, because that's how the teams score points. Once the element is inside of a position, they need to see how many points they scored. If they're just moving things around the game mat and they don't know how many points they're getting, that kind of may cause an issue when they get to the event. It also gives you an idea of how the judging will work. So what does completely inside mean? What does touching mean? And how many points does each one get? There is then randomization and special rules. Some of the events and some of the categories will have a randomization. Elements on the game mat move around. They won't be where the teams place them during practice. So to prepare these teams for this event, make sure they practice randomization if it is in their specific game rule set. There is also a special rule, and most of them will have a surprise rule. This will be something that is given to the teams on the day of the competition that they need to adapt their robots for.
So have your teams come up with their own surprise rules. Get them to test different things. Maybe get them to come up with something that is fun for other teams to do. The more you give your team, the better prepared they will be. And have them make up their own rules because rules can always change. And a big one from me, test your robot in different environments. What you have in your lab, the team will be running in all of the time. However, when you get to the competition, it's a completely different space. We're not running in your lab, we're running in a big hall, or maybe we were even running outside. You don't know. So test your robot in different environments. If your team's tested in different environments, they will see what works, what doesn't, and they can adjust. That means when they go to the competition, they'll be more confident in adjusting their program to fit the specific conditions. We then get to registration. So your team has been practicing for a while. They are prepped. Their robot's looking good. They're scoring 100% of the score. If you are lucky, maybe they're scoring 50%, which is about normal. So whatever they're scoring, take a look. You need to register your teams if you would like to compete. It is a very big step. It is a very scary step because you're not sure how they're going to do, especially if it's your first time. But it is worth it in the long run because it gives you an idea of how the competition works, and it also gives your teams an idea of how the competition works. So in order to register your teams, you will need to go onto the WRO website when registration opens, and you will need to take this information. You will need your team's category that they're competing in, so RoboMission as an example. You will need their age group, the senior age group as an example, and you will need a team name, the Yellow Bees. That's a good example. And you need each team member's name. Now, please provide your full name for your team members because this is the name that will appear on their certificates. So if you're giving us nicknames, that is the name that will be on their certificate. So please make sure you give us their name. You then need to have the team member's year of birth. So the year in which they were born. Keep in mind the cost of entering. So in order to enter a WRO event, there is a 350 Rand charge per team member. So a team of 2, which is the minimum, will be charged 700 Rand, and a team of 3 will be charged 1,050 Rand. If you are entering the in-house, that is different. There's a 350 Rand charge for an unlimited amount of teams in the in-house challenge. You will also need to consider your venue and your dates. You can select your venue, the school, or maybe organization or hall you would like to go to. The date that that venue will be open and running specific events and categories. Now, keep in mind that your teams do not all have to go to the same venue on the same day. You can register your teams for whatever venues you like, whatever dates suit you on our system, and they can go there. So if you have 30 teams, for example, you can send 15 to venue 1 and you can send 15 to venue 2. It's up to you how you would like to split your teams. And as we know from experience, teams have different things going on. Sports events crop up and you need to move teams around. Let us know if that's the case. We are always happy to help. And any mistakes you've made through the registration process can always be fixed. Mistakes include things like wrong team names, you're missing team members are fighting and you need to dissolve a team and put them somewhere else. We have seen it all. So please let us know how we can assist you, what needs to happen, because we want your kids to participate. And importantly, always ask questions. If you are not sure how something works, let us know. We will be happy to walk you through it. Then with registration, we open our team registration and our judges registration. So if it's your first time, I highly recommend registering as a judge. You will surprise yourself as a judge, and there is a range of learning that happens. You learn the judging process, you receive some judges training as well, and you learn how rules are interpreted so that you can go back and better prepare your teams. You learn how the scoring process works, how quarantine works as an example, how randomization works, how things are scored on the game mats, even in Future Innovators, how the different rubrics work. You also experience different types of team issues on your table, where teams could be fighting, robots could not be working, power sources could be going down. These are only things that you will learn through the judging process. If you're sitting on the outside, you miss out on all of this valuable information. And you will see what happens when teams succeed. Regardless of where they're sitting and how they're doing, teams will always succeed. You then will make specific contacts. There will be people there that have been doing WRO for years. There will be international judges there. There'll be a range of different individuals who we term as experts within WRO, who you can befriend and get their contact information and assistance with. You'll also make some lifelong friends at these events. I can definitely speak on that. Within that, you will also have your veterans. So we've got our veterans, and these are the guys that have been doing it for an incredibly long time. These are the teams that keep coming back and the coaches that keep coming back. Watch them because they have the experience and learn from them. Strangely, within this wonderful world of robotics, we find that lots of teams are willing to share knowledge. Lots of coaches are willing to share knowledge, how they do, what they can do. So don't feel scared to ask. How did your robot do that? How do you make a line follower? People are more than happy to assist. And by making these connections, you can find more competitions. You can start running some inter-school robotics competitions. You might even learn about some other competitions you didn't know existed. You will also build confidence not only in yourself, but in your own teams and in the whole WRO process. So if I can give one word of advice to all of you, register to judge at your local WRO event, whether your teams are there or not, and you'll probably enjoy the process. Jumping now into our competition preparation. This is now getting ready for the event. This could be the week before, 2 weeks before, a month before. You'll decide when you want to start your competition prep. The first step is to know your venue. So know your venue. Find out what the start times are, what the end times are. Arrive early. What's the lunch procedure? Is there lunch that's going to be offered on the day? Do I have to buy lunch for my teams, or do my teams need to bring their own? What is the registration process on the day? How's it going to work? Where do I go? What do I need? And for all venues, spectators are welcome. So parents, heads of schools, anybody is welcome to come and have a look at our World Robot Olympiad events. Anyone and everyone is welcome, because the more people we have cheering these kids on at this event, the more engineers, the more coders, the more world changers we will have coming through the WRO system. A big and important one is each event will have an information pack, and read the information pack when it's provided to you. With your equipment and your preparations, you need to make sure you have everything. So number one, you need your robot. Every year there's 1 or 2 teams that forget their robot at home. Can you believe it? So make sure you have your robot with you. You also need a programming device, something which you will use to program your robot. You may need an extension cord, and the reason for that is because the plug might be on the floor and it's not on the desk. So you need some way of getting power to your devices. You may need some extra bits and pieces. This could be extra battery packs, it could be extra sensors, extra parts to modify and change your robot for the day's conditions. And the number one thing that you should be doing is making sure the robot is fully charged. Don't let your team arrive at an event with a robot that has 0 battery. Always charge the robots a day or 2 before to make sure that they can run. Then, as a big piece of advice, you need some rest. So before your event, you need to relax a little bit and rest, both for yourself as a coach, because it's quite stressful, but also for your teams, because it's more stressful. Don't let your teams go and change their programs before the event. That is a very bad idea, because things will most definitely go wrong. And again, because it's very important, charge the robot during this rest period. With that, attend our webinars. You will learn as you go. There is a lot of information that we can provide for you about WRO. You learn from experts by attending our webinars. You can ask your questions, as I see already happening in the chat that Dani is busy answering, but also at the end when we start to activate our microphones and can speak through it. You learn from past experiences. You make contacts in these webinars. You can also involve your teams in these webinars, involve parents, involve higher ups. Anyone and everyone is welcome within our webinars because the more information we have about WRO, the better prepared our coaches and our teams will be. Our webinars are specialized in that we have specific webinars for specific events, such as this, which is for all of our WRO beginners, but we will have Robo Mission, Robo Sports, all of the category webinars all set up as well, where we will be taking deep dives into what those categories are about, all by experts in the field, people who have years of experience in working within WRO or in the actual system or industry. In these webinars, we will also give obscure little known rules that you might have missed in your packs. So attend them and you might learn something you didn't know before. We also talk about any rule changes that may happen within each of the categories. And remember, all of our webinars are free to join. Once we have prepared everything, our teams know what they're doing, we get to the competition day. This is the big day, the day we've been waiting for. When you arrive, the very first thing that you need to do is go and check in at our registration desk. Please be on time. Don't be late. Rather be early. Get your team settled. And know your team details. So if you're arriving and you see on the list that they're looking for the big blue guys, make sure you can say, that's my team, big blue guys. They are here. All 3 team members tick, and then off you go. There will be a seating system, so find where your team is sitting. Where are they staying in the hall? We have 60 teams at some of these events, so that's 60 spaces that they need to go through. So find the seat that they have been allocated. Let them sit down, set up all of their equipment, and importantly, let the spectators know where the team is so that they can go and sit in the stands and get ready to watch the incredible world of robotics unfold in front of them. Importantly, follow any instructions from the WRO judges and the staff. And this is important for your teams as well as yourself as a coach. The judges are there to assist your teams on the day and guide them through the competition. So please let the judges work. They know what they are doing. And then we spectate. We have spectators from all over the place coming and watching these events. Coaches, when they arrive at the competition, become spectators because they are not allowed to enter the competition area and they're not allowed to communicate with their teams. So if you're coming for the first time and you're having a look at your event, you are going to sit and watch your team do everything. You cannot communicate with them at all. So rather come and judge. Keeps you busy. But ultimately, our spectators will relax, they'll watch, and they will support all of the teams on the floor, not just their own teams. If any team is doing well, spectators should be cheering and letting them know just how well they have done. It's also a good place to go and make lots of friends and contacts within the field. Once we've completed our competition, our teams have come back, they have done okay, they have done well, they have done poorly. We want to reflect on what had happened. So, some questions to ask your teams and yourself. Were you prepared for this event? Did you do enough preparation? Did you cope with the chaos that was happening on the day? Did we achieve any of goals that we had set? Maybe the higher ups set us some kind of goal to come third. Did we achieve that? If we didn't, why didn't we? What went wrong? Were we successful? Remember, people measure success differently. Success could be that we had a robot run in all 3 rounds. It could be that we won the competition. Did we achieve what we set out to achieve? Did we have fun? That's a really big one. Did we learn anything? Are the higher ups happy with us? Are the parents happy with us? And the most important people in the room, are our teams happy with what happened? These are questions you can ask yourself and reflect upon on the day. The more you reflect, the better prepared you will be for next year's competition. So future preparations, these are things that we take from our reflections, what we can do better. Maybe we need to work on our timeline. The team attitudes have changed. Teams, once they've arrived at their first competition, realize what's needed and what's involved, how much fun it is, and they will want to take it and run. How are the higher ups feeling? Maybe we did badly, maybe we did well, maybe they are going to need more support. And how are the parents feeling? And should we go again? So in conclusion, just before we jump into our Q&A, for our beginners, you need to take the first step. This will hopefully help you take the first step. You need to start small if it's your first time. Don't go to large scale because you don't know how the process may work. Please don't expect success on your first time. Teams are going up against other teams who have 4 or 5 years of experience, against coaches who have 10 plus years of experience. So don't expect to win on your first one. Go in with the attitude that you're there to learn and have fun, and you will see that the WRO will welcome you and take you through. And there will be a year where you win. Learn as you go. It's always a learning process. So don't be afraid to keep learning. There's always a lot to do. And importantly, ask questions if you are new. We are always happy to answer any questions you may have. We want as many teams to participate as possible in this incredible world of robotics. As a judge, you will learn more, you gain confidence in yourself, and importantly, you won't be bored when you're at the events. So join as a judge. You should always have fun and enjoy the process. Now we get to the Q&A section. So in the Q&A, that is where you can ask your questions. So I see that we do have some questions in the chat. I have just given you the option to unmute yourselves if you would like to ask a question. So while we wait, I'm going to go through some of the questions that I might see in the chat here. Let's have a look. Is there any limit on the programming language? No, teams can use any programming language they like, whether it's one that already exists or maybe it's one that they have built themselves. They are welcome to use it. Any programming language is welcome as long as the robots are not remote controlled. Do the teams expect to be present or to present the innovation in a judging room or in front of everyone in the competition? So this is specific to future innovators. So future innovator teams, will they be expected to present their models? Yes, teams will be expected to present their models. There is a rubric that they will use to determine how the teams have scored. Teams should be judged by different judges, and there should be a round score for all of them. Taking a look at the Q&A now, that's going through the chat. So if you have questions, you're welcome to put them in the Q&A, otherwise in the chat. Otherwise, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask as well. There you go, just the same question about programming languages. Programming languages, anything is allowed within WRO. Any robot type is allowed within WRO as well. So if you have a question, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask away. Otherwise, type your question in the chat. I see we have about 5 minutes left to go of this webinar. So if you need more information on the WRO, remember step number 1, you need to go and check out the website. So from the website, you will find all of the category rules. So all of your different categories, the Robo Mission, Robo Sports, Future Engineers, everything is sitting there for you, ready to go and ready to be read. Once you've read it, if you're still not sure, or you're maybe not sure which category you should enter, you're welcome to send us an email at wro@handsontech.co.za, and we can assist you from there. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. If it's your first time, welcome to the wonderful world of the World Robot Olympiad. I hope to see you again, and I hope you enjoy your journey. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and end now unless we have another question. Drop your beat.